Hey guys, Will here with W.T.F car reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing this all-new 2023 Honda Civic Sport Hatchback.
And a big thanks to Joe at Ocean Honda in Port Richey, Florida for helping make this review possible. I'll leave a link to their inventory below, and if you're looking for a new car, SUV, or truck in the Port Richey or Tampa area, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out and ask for Joe.
And for those of you guys who don't know, the Civic started off as Honda's subcompact hatchback and sedan back in 1972. That's when the first generation was released. Up until the 6th gen in 2000, it was classified as a subcompact, where for the 7th generation and on, from 2000 to 2023, it's been classified as a compact, hatchback, sedan, and a coupe. We're currently sitting on the 11th generation platform, which was released last year for 2022, available in either a sedan or a liftback. First time since the 2nd generation Civic that Honda decided to ditch the coupe for declining sales. For 2023, Honda ditched the LX trim, so now the Sport is now the base and standard trim level for the Civic, up $2,100 compared to the 2022 LX. The Sport gets over that previous LX 18-inch rims, smart access with push to start, paddle shifters, and it's the only trim with a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. The 2023 Civic Hatchback, outside of the SI and Type R, is available in 3 different trim levels, starting with the Sport that you see here with a base price of $25,540, available with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine cranking out 158 horsepower, 138 pound-feet of torque, enough to get this almost 3,000-pound sedan or hatchback to 60 in 8.5 seconds. For the Sport, we get 18-inch black alloy wheels, an available 6-speed manual transmission or a CVT, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, full LED headlights, leather steering wheel, Sport pedals, and a 7-inch touchscreen. We also get smart access with push to start, remote start if you go with the CVT, and Honda Sensing. You can upgrade to the EXL, which starts at $27,750, which gets the 1.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder, cranking out a pretty healthy 180 horsepower, 177 pound-feet of torque. If you go with the SI, that 1.5-liter turbo cranks out 200 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque, just like the 2023 Acura Integra. But the EXL gets leather seats, blind spot monitoring, a moonroof, 17-inch alloy wheels, down compared to the Sport's 18-inch, dual-zone automatic climate control. The Sport gets automatic climate control, but it's just a single zone. You can upgrade to the Sport Touring package, which is the top of the line, non-Type R, non-SI Honda Civic, which starts at $30,550, which gets the Bose premium audio system with 12 speakers and a subwoofer, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a wireless phone charger, 9-inch color touchscreen, 6-speed manual transmission is available for the Sport Touring 2, made it to a 1.5-liter turbo, and a CVT, of course, is also available. LED fog lamps are included for the Sport Touring, dual exhaust heated seats, which are Power 2, and we get navigation. But this is the Sport trim with a base price of $25,540. What else do we get for the money? Let's jump right in. So up front, you notice your flickering LED daytime running lights. They're not actually flickering in real life. Full LED for the high and low beam, standard on the 2023 Civic Sport. Honda badge in the center. We get Honda Sensing for the base Sport trim too. No front parking sensing, but pretty solid airflow for the radiator for this 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. The wheel and tire setup, also impressive. Before we even check out the wheel and tire setup, I like how the updated 11th generation Civic has that sharp style front end. Kind of reminds me a little bit of an Accord in a good way. It makes this vehicle look a little bit larger with a sharper, longer front tooth area. The wheel and tire setup, we get these nice wide spoke 18-inch rims wrapped in 235/40 R18 Goodyear Eagle Sport all-season tires, some of the better all-seasons in the business. And with this 235 wide compound, it should put the power down well with this 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. No plastic cladding or anything like that. Blacked out mirror, no LED turn signal on the glass, no blind spot monitoring on the glass either. No LED turn signal on the mirror, no blind spot monitoring on the glass. Black trim for the window trim, I like to see that. Blacked out B-pillar and C-pillar, no tints. You can add them, of course, aftermarket. We get smart access for the driver and the front passenger. The window sticker, we can take a quick look on the 2023 Civic 2-liter hatchback Sport with this beautiful platinum white pearl metallic paint, which is a $400 option, as you guys can see. But that's the only option on this vehicle. You can pause, take a look at every standard feature that's available on the base Civic Hatchback Sport, with a base price again of $25,450. After the paint and an $1,100 destination and handling charge, we're sitting a tick under $27,000. 32 MPGs, 29 city, and 37 on the highway. This is a Very efficient vehicle. Same rear wheel and tire setup. We don't get a staggered wheel and tire setup, which wouldn't be expected on a front wheel drive base Civic Sport. We get a push to open gas cap with easy fill. 87 octane fuel is acceptable for this 2-liter 4-cylinder liftback, of course, with a wiper, LED tail lights, turn signals are halogen, the reverse light also appears to be a halogen, but the reflectors are definitely doing their job. Civic badge, shout out Ocean Honda in Port Richey, Florida for helping make this review possible. Sport badge in the right corner, black diffuser area. We can get a good look at the exhaust tip on the right side and the suspension setup. Speaking of the exhaust tip, let's fire up this 2-liter 4-cylinder and hear how she sounds. Alright guys, that was the sound of the 2-liter 4-cylinder sold by Honda for the 2023 Civic Sport hatchback, and it sounds okay for what it is. Not really aggressive, doesn't make a whole lot of power at only 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque. Enough to get this about 3,000 pounds, like 2,980 pounds. Compact hatchback to 60 around 8 to 8.5 seconds. So certainly not the quickest, but it gets good gas mileage. Expect over 30 combined MPGs. The handling should be impressive with that strut tower brace and pretty wide 235 wide front and rear tires. Not something you really see in the segment where you see a lot of 205 wide, 215 wide, but 235s, not something you see especially for a base Civic. But what you see is basically what we get. We can shut this hood right up, take one more step back, get a good look at the front styling. This platinum white metallic paint really transforms the Civic, especially with the black rims that you get on the Sport package. But the interior, again, we get smart access for the driver and the front passenger. Taking a step inside, we get unfortunately just hard plastic for the door panel. I would expect to see some type of rubberized material at least for the upper portion. The middle portion is cloth, so is the armrest. Cushy soft cloth, auto one touch for the front windows, power windows, out rear 4-way adjustable mirrors, and some solid storage down beneath. 1 out of your 6 speakers, no nameplate or kickplate as you step inside. The seats are also cloth, but they're well bolstered, very comfortable and supportive. Taking a step inside, we can really check out this interior. So as you mentioned, standard features are these sport pedals. Hopefully you can pick them up on camera. As you step inside, it says Honda on the digital gauge cluster. Speaking of digital gauge cluster, fire everything right to life. And there you have it. So digital gauge cluster, of course, is all new for the 11th generation. All 2023 Civics get the digital gauge cluster. The steering wheel is nice and thick, good 10-2 bolstering notches. Reminds me a lot of the CR-V steering wheel. Nice 9-3-2. The spokes down below, we don't get a center spoke, but it does have a nice opening. The horn area is rubberized. The horn itself, not very aggressive, but more aggressive than the CR-V. People should still be getting out of your way. On the left side of the steering wheel, skip, volume, source. These buttons control your digital gauge cluster, voice commands too. On the right side, radar, cruise control with lane keep assist. Nice features for a standard base sport trim. Auto headlamps, auto high beams, no auto rain sensing wipers, wouldn't really be expected for a base Civic Sport. To the left of the steering wheel, we have our interior brightness, 360 sensing, Honda sensing, and we can turn off our traction control. Tilt and telescoping steering wheel, hood latch release, as you mentioned, Sport pedals. The dashboard is soft rubberized material. I kind of wish they gave us like a hard plastic dashboard. They gave us soft touch for the upper part of the door panel, since this will be the area we touch more frequently. Additional 2 out of your 6 speakers on the A-pillar. The air controls feel very premium, especially with the silver grille for the vents. The CR-V we just reviewed in this channel did not have the silver vent grills, so this does look a little bit more premium. Hazards in the center, 7-inch touchscreen. We don't get navigation for the base Sport, but we still get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Shortcuts down below if you would like to avoid using the touchscreen, but it is a touchscreen, as you see, pretty responsive. You see all the settings that we have available right over here, but pretty basic overall. The shortcuts are down below if you don't want to go through the touchscreen. The main menu is this screen right here. You can see the music, text, and the preset stations down below. Satisfying resistance too for the volume and tune dials. The backup camera, we can check it out. Throw it into reverse. It is a solid resolution with guidance lines and trajectory. Pretty premium touches for the base Civic Sport. 3 different views. You can get a little wider over the top view and a true over the top little trailer hitch view. for like parking situations in the city so you can maximize your space behind the car or in front of the car behind you. But anyway, right back to the original backup screen. You can throw it right back into park, and it immediately returns us to our home screen. Underneath, we have single zone automatic climate control. It is auto climate, but I personally prefer using manual climate, even in cars with auto climate, so the vent controls are in the center. No wireless charging pad on the base Sport, USB-A port, and a 12 volt right next to it. Good spot for a radar detector. The gear selector again controls the CVT transmission, PRND, no low gear, no sport for the transmission, but we do get drive modes. The drive modes include Sport, normal, and econ mode. We'll start the review off in normal, transition to sport, and you see what the differences are. Electronic parking brake with auto hold. I like this faux carbon plastic trim. It's not going to leave behind any fingerprints, and it does look pretty premium. Very large cup holders. I'd expect you to fit 20-ounce water bottles easily in both of the cup holders. Cushy soft cloth armrest. It may collect some sweat long term, may not stay clean forever, so definitely keep like a steamer at hand to keep your cloth nice and clean, but it's still very soft, comfortable area to rest your arm. Very spacious too for the console space. This tray, you could throw some coins, business cards, insurance cards, car accessories in general. In the console, you'll fit at least 5 or 6 single liter bottles of soda. That is a very, very large console for a compact hatchback. The glove box, we can pull the latch. It is very well damped, not lined with felt. It's about the same size as the CR-V's glove box, maybe a little bit larger actually. I'd expect you to fit 20 license plates. You'll fit a pair of shoes in there without any problem. Basically a frameless rear view mirror, very thin frame. It's not auto dimming though. You got to pull this latch back and forth to dim the mirror. LED interior light. The visor gets no light unfortunately, so at night it's gonna be pretty tough to see unless this, nope, no light at all. Pretty interesting, but I guess this thing right here does light up. But that's about it guys for the front seat of the 2023 Honda Civic Sport. Let's hop out back, see how much space is offered back there, as well as the overall quality of the materials. So out rear, up top, just like up front, it's gonna be hard plastic with hard plastic in the center portion. Even the area over here, which was lined in cloth up front, is just hard plastic here. But the armrest is still gushy soft. Power window, aluminum door handle, kind of reminds me of the door handle on my Camaro. Decent storage, an additional one of your 6 speakers. The seats, of course, are still cloth. However, it appears to be leather trimmed for the back seat. That's a pretty interesting touch. But the padding does not go out to the door frame. Not the most couch-like, but there's a decent amount of bolstering for a back seat. Legroom looks impressive. I'm a little bit over 6 feet tall, sitting behind my seat settings, and I still have at least 4 or 5 inches of knee room, headroom. I have at least an inch, maybe 2. No air vents back here, unfortunately. And although this is a front-wheel drive hatchback, we get a pass-through which kind of protrudes for the center passenger space. Speaking of the center passenger space, there is no center cubby over here for the center. The interior light, you got to reach a little bit to access it, but it's still LED. We get a hook here so you can hang up a suit in the back seat. But what you see is basically what we get. Slightly more headroom compared to the sedan since we have the hatchback. Speaking of hatchback, 2 speakers on the door panel if we didn't mention. But speaking of the hatchback, let's do exactly that. See how much space is offered out rear in the hatch. So underneath the Honda badge, you press this button. We don't get an auto opening tailgate, but it's very well hydraulically damped. So it opens up by itself hydraulically, but you're gonna have to put the effort in to close it right back up. We get the tonneau cover so people that are walking by your Civic hatch don't see what's going on back here. If you don't want the tonneau cover out here, you simply retract it because the hatch is pretty well tinted. The floor goes down very low, solid cutouts, so the grocery bags aren't going to be flying around. We can move some of these floor mats out of the way. See if we get some secret storage down here. We do. We get a spare tire with some secret space around it and a jack in the center. We can put this thing right back. The trunk liner and floor mats right back where we were. We get some solid size wheel well cutouts. So you might be able to fit a golf bag horizontally. You'll definitely be able to fit it diagonally. And if you drop the seats down 60-40 split, I would expect you to fit up to a 65-70 inch TV back here. Very solid size floor. And the cutouts for the seat area are pretty efficiently done, unlike some of the other vehicles in the segment, which has huge humps in the center even after you fold the rear seats. We can shut this thing right up, take one more step back, walk around this 2023 Civic Sport hatchback one more time. It's a clean looking car with a base price over 25,000 bucks. Some of you may think it's a little bit overpriced, but considering what we get, Honda's proven dependability and reliability, LED headlamps, really beautiful styling, black 18-inch rims with 235 wide tires. I'm excited to take it out for a drive. And speaking of that, let's do exactly that and take this car out for a drive.
All right, guys, now we're just about seeing everything we need to see with the inside and outside of the 2023 Honda Civic Sport. Let's take it out for a drive. And starting off in normal mode, typical Honda, the throttle response feels good. And also typical Honda, the steering feels good, really good. Just like the CR-V. Honda's been doing a great job with their steerings lately. I wasn't impressed with the previous generation Civic or CR-V steering racks, but that's not the case anymore. Both the CR-V and Civic both feel really good with their steering. Take a step out here, about third throttle. Yeah, good response. It goes to about 3,000 RPM. Yeah, so for daily driving, the throttle is tuned well. We'll take a step out into this highway, lean into it a little bit more, and see what this thing's got. Looks like we have the chance as soon as this Lincoln passes. All right, taking a step out. On the gas. Okay, not bad, not a whole lot down low. Once you cross about 5,000 RPM, it does start to pick up a little bit better, but the CVT definitely holds this car back. On the highway though, it is quiet. We'll do a window check real quick. We don't get dual panes. I didn't expect us to get dual panes on a base Civic Sport, but it's still super quiet in here. We'll try out a real world turning radius as soon as the light turns green. All right, light's green. We'll try it out in sport mode, turning radius. Very sharp, not quite as sharp as the CR-V, but on the gas. A little more sensitive. Yeah, once you're above 5,000 RPM, the power feels decent. Below 5,000, it feels like there's definitely something to be desired. But above 5,000, this thing is pulling pretty hard, and it's not really shifting until like 6,500. And in sport mode, it holds the revs. We have a red light coming up, should give us some type of opportunity to try an acceleration off the line. There's another light probably 100 yards ahead of this one, so it's not going to make us let us go very far. But we'll try it out. We'll try out these paddle shifters too. All right, off the line. Wow. That's ridiculous. I put my foot to the floor, and as you saw, that Toyota Tundra, who was probably barely even trying, had absolutely no problem taking off harder. And to add insult to injury, I don't even think that Tundra is a 5.7, but okay, taking a step out here. Start off in first gear as soon as we get the chance. It's a long first gear. On the gas. Okay, it automatically shifts us at around 6,500. We don't have to use the paddles, but it keeps up pretty well on the gas. Yeah, up top, I'm telling you, this motor, it's probably something to do with Honda's VTEC, but up top, it feels good. Woo. Yeah, up top, it may be able to keep up with a 1.5. Obviously, down low, the 1.5 is going to blow this thing away. But all right, we can take it out of sport mode, try it back out in normal. And things are a lot quieter in normal mode. You hear more wind noise compared to the CR-V. The CR-V had dual pane windows, so it'd be expected the brakes feel good. So does the steering. We'll try a high-speed turning radius and body roll test. Oh, wow, the body roll is so limited. And on the gas. Woo! Interesting. So in drive, the CVT shifts us around like 6,900, 7,000 RPM. But when we use the paddles, the transmission automatically shifts us closer to what the hell is this guy doing? Come on, man. All right, he's racing me now. But this Civic's got some power, I'm telling you. Down low, you don't feel a whole lot. Not at all. But up top, I'm telling you, this thing can pull. It reminds me a little bit of the 2.4 engine out of the old Civic SI. It feels completely dead down low, and then once you cross 4,500, 5,000, it just picks up power. Like where the heck did that come from? But overall, this is an impressive car. I wasn't expecting this 2-liter VTEC 4-cylinder to pull as well as it does up top. It may actually be underrated when it comes to horsepower, but that 138 pound-feet of torque, that has to be an accurate figure, because it just does not feel very strong down low. But you're looking for a pretty premium compact sedan. You prioritize things such as long-term reliability, dependability, styling, and overall space. This is a great way to go. No, you're not going to have quite as many features as you would from a mid-trim Kia, Hyundai, or even like the Nissan Sentra. So yes, this is a little bit more expensive compared to some of the other vehicles in the segment, but it has that reputation that you just don't get from the others. And this is also a little bit more spacious. I personally prefer the styling and the interior layout. The steering feels good. The handling feels good. This handling feels no worse than a Mazda 3. It may actually be a little bit better than a Mazda 3, but overall, if you're looking for a compact sedan, you're okay with paying a little bit extra because you want the proven dependability and reliability that you get from the Honda name, I would definitely recommend checking out the new 2023 Honda Civic. I'd recommend checking out the Sport and the EXL, because the EXL, you get a lot more power down low. For daily driving, it's just gonna feel like a much faster vehicle, and the gas mileage should still be pretty good out of that 1.5 turbo. However, if you're planning on keeping this car long term, you're gonna put over 150,000 miles on this Civic. Go with the 2-liter inline 4-cylinder VTEC. It's a proven, reliable, and dependable motor, and it'll get you probably double the mileage than the 1.5 turbo. But again, if you're looking for short term, doesn't quite matter, definitely check out both. And a big thanks to Joe and Alex at Ocean Honda in Port Richey, Florida for helping make this review possible. I'll leave links to their inventory below, and if you're looking for a new car, SUV, or truck in the Port Richey, Tampa, Clearwater area, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out. And as for Alex or Joe, and huge thanks to all of you for watching. I had a great time making this video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. You guys know the channel is just not possible without you guys, and I really appreciate the constant support. But again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Leave a like too. It really helps me out the YouTube algorithm. That's how these videos get promoted to new people. Leave a comment. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Leave a comment. Let me know if there's any specific cars, SUVs, or trucks you want to see reviewed on this channel. Let me know what the trim levels are, and I'll definitely try getting those videos for you ASAP. But other than that, again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope all of you have a great day.